The story begins with a man telling a high school girl that from now on they will be a family with him as her father. The girl was taken aback as the man assured her it was okay for her not to see him as his father. But he wanted someone the girl could rely on, and that was not a problem for her, and she quickly accepted that fact. So she wishes them both to get along, smiling ever so sweetly with a hint of hidden intention behind it. What is it really? Let's just say it's that Sweet Home Alabama moment. Anyway, let's proceed to a month later after our main character, named Hiroto, married Miyako, a widowed mother of Tako. That night the couple is in the kitchen preparing their dinner. NC is fond of Miyako and loves her dearly as his wife. You can see how those eyes sparkle when looking at her. This man is in love, and aside from her there's also Tako, who is as bright as the sunshine. Her father passed away when she was in her second year of high school. Still, Tako sees MC as her father with whom she can hang out. She was teasing MC about the way he peels the potatoes, which surprised him in a way, but let her show it how it's done. MC heard that girls of Tako's age are hard to get along with, but with Tako's personality, MC has nothing to worry about. Or is there? We'll find out soon. Before MC married Miyako, he was a workaholic prick with nothing in his world but work after work. When he hit his 30s, his boss promoted him. Although it sounded great to others, to him, it only meant that there was lots of work to do. You can easily tell when looking at his ever-so-lonely eyes. He is as lonely as he looks with his eye bags, unlike his friends who were getting married at that age. One night, his mother called to check up on his situation and to point out the lives of others while comparing it to their child. It's an Asian tradition to be nosy to others and compare it to their child. Get used to it. His mother was worried that his son, Hirojo, might not get married, and she's wrong because Miyako came into his life, and his life was never been more enjoyable. Meanwhile, he spaced out while cooking, probably not believing that he finally had a woman in his life to protect and love. My man has now felt peace with his little family, but there's no perfect family in this world. There will always be something fishy or not supposed to be there. They were cooking with laughter until they forgot that they ran out of curry. MC suggested going to the nearby convenience store to buy, but Miyako insisted so that MC couldn't argue with her. This is the part 1 referred to that no marriage seems perfect. In this case, there's a third part, not outside the family. That is something weird to tell. Whenever MC is alone with Tako, he always feels tense. Despite her bright smile when wanting to hang out with MC, there's something else behind that smile. Tako invited MC to the couch so they could play video games together. The way Tako grabs his hand and how she is clingy while playing bothers him quite a lot. However, Tako just wanted to hang out with him, but he can't help but feel tense, or maybe he's just being overly conscious. But the way Tako gets competitive in a game is something that Hirojo and her are similar. Their game was hard, and Hirojo and Tako smiled contentedly. She hugged MC, saying that he was a new, which weirded out Hirojo, who felt something else on his arm. He didn't like the feeling, so he retreated his arm, which surprised Tako. She was confused, so Hirojo told her that she was already in high school, so she should limit her clinginess. As innocent as she gets, she looks up in confusion and crawls towards him, asking for an explanation. MC was stunned, not knowing what to do as Tako told him she was not being. She touched him on his cheeks, which alone is weird for a daughter to do. But before MC could react, Miyako returned home, and Tako reacted as if nothing had happened and approached her mom to help with the bags, leaving Hirojo on the couch, palpitating and confused. As their dinner was ready, Miyako and Tako were catching up, and Tako shared that she and Hirojo were playing video games. However, MC still can't move on, and is trying to understand what happened and why Tako acted like that. He concluded that maybe Tako felt lonely when her father died, but it was just like that to Miyako. Yeah, maybe the dude was just overthinking it. Finally, they get to eat dinner while Miyako is acting Tako about her day in school. Tako replied to her mom, talking about soft tennis. Then she asked them if she would appreciate it if Hirojo would watch her play next time. Miyako thinks watching if his work won't get in the way is a great idea. Miyako wished to watch too, but that depended on her condition. Before she could finish what she was saying, Miyako was interrupted by the sound of their telephone because their neighbor was calling. Meanwhile, MC was once again alone with Tako. I don't know what her deal is, but she told Hirojo that girls usually call their boyfriends to watch their match. But it's good enough if Hirojo is going to watch her play. Hirojo didn't know what to say, but thankfully, Miyako returned to the table. She asked them what they were talking about, to which Teiko kept it between them only. However, she didn't stop there and was teasing Hirojo with his leg. She smiled like it was nothing, but even that creeped me out. She got wickedness in her. After everything, Hirojo and Miyako went to bed, and MC wished to talk about Teiko. When he started their conversation, Miyako thought there was a problem with him suddenly becoming a father. And so their topic changed, and Hirojo assured her he had no regret. Then they were doing what normal couples do, while Teiko creepily eavesdropped on their conversation with a wicked smile. Things are just getting started. Hirojo's another day at work, and he's already yawning. Somebody didn't sleep last night. His office mate, Sasaki, noticed that MC was already sleepy, so he nudged him, which caught him by surprise. With Hirojo's eyebags and lack of sleek gaze, he asked Sasaki about his intention. However, all Sasaki wants is for them to eat lunch together. Sasaki noticed MC's deliciously made bento as they were taking their lunches. It was Teiko's creation for Hirojo, something that Sasaki advised him to do since his wife wouldn't bother making one for him. Hearing that statement from his buddy made MC appreciate Teiko's gesture even more, so he thanked her when he got home. Speaking off, Sasaki started another conversation about MC's family and how his wife is a beauty. However, Hirojo can't recall showing his workmate a picture of his family. I guess Sasaki is as nosy and stalker to know. Not only that, he knew that they had a high school daughter, and this pedophile really thinks MC is lucky for being with a young woman like Teiko. Sasaki invites MC for having someone greet him once he gets home, like, "Ah, welcome home, Papa." While Hirojo's face scrunches at the sight of his workmate, daydreaming something like that in front of his drink, not to mention to his daughter as well. Dude is daydreaming Alabama moments. Not only that, folks, but he was also wondering and assuming that Hirojo might have had happy little accidents with his daughter. But Hirojo had enough of his disgusting assumptions that he slammed his bottle and shut him off. He yelled at Sasaki, saying he would never lay his hand on his daughter. Especially now that Teiko is in high school, something very important in her life experiences, and it's his duty as a parent to protect rather than have such thoughts about his child. True, it's utterly disgusting. MC was looking down at him like he was nothing but a disgusting atom that deserved to be in jail. Sasaki could feel the intensity of Hirojo's gaze. He gulped and tried to cover it by saying he was just joking. However, as Hirojo is on the way home while riding the train, he can't help but think about what he said to Sasaki. Having such thoughts about a child is nothing short of disgusting. He can't help but get attacked by his own words, because he knows that even he got that thought out in one instance when Toko hugged him. It was that moment when his heart skipped a beat for a bit, and that is pathetic for him to feel. However, he is working to be a proper father. It's the thought that counts, I guess. Sooner, MC arrived home and saw nobody in the living room. He thought Miyako and Toko were still out, but he didn't notice the presence of a girl behind him. It was Tuka, and she covered his eyes, playing the guessing game. Of course, Hirojo already knew who it was based on the voice, and recognizing it, he jerked off and got scared. Tuka was just an innocent kid. While Hirojo almost had a heart attack, he asked for her mother, but Tuka informed him she had not been home since she had stopped at the clinic for her checkup. And since the coup was long and Miyako would take a while, Tuka had other plans to spend time with her father alone with just the two of them. They played mom and dad, with Tuka untying his necktie like a wife. Aside from that, Tuka just casually hugged MC, saying that he smelled nice. But Hirojo got intense and stopped her from going too far and went away. He was confused about why Tuka behaved like that, yet her face was confused as he looked back at her. But Tuka knew that Hirojo was feeling weirded out, so she asked him if it was bad for them to be closer. This question alarmed MC, since he was also scared that Tuka might misunderstand him. However, Tuka mentioned that she knew about MC and Miyako's little playtime yesterday night, and she heard it. Well, every parent's heart would skip a beat knowing that their kids heard them playing without them. Am I right? Hirojo was getting nervous and scared, thinking they were quiet that night, but they weren't. They got a little bit too fun. MC gathered his courage and apologized to Tuka for making her uncomfortable with what he and her mother did. Aside from that, Hirojo made it clear to Tuka that he is her father, and as father and daughter, they are allowed to get close, but with the right boundaries. Hirojo did his best to explain it gently to Tuka, not wanting to hurt her feelings. But the more he explains, the louder Tuka's sobs are getting. Seeing her crying like that made Hirojo panic, not knowing what to do. Moments later, Tuka grabbed his shoulder and was about to hug him. She also apologized, saying that she was lonely and didn't want to scare him off or he'd leave them and her mom. This made MC realize she was a lonely kid and felt bad for saying those things earlier. And so Hirojo's face and voice softened as he apologized to Tuka and assured her he wouldn't leave them. He will continue to become a great father and a husband to them, which eases Tuka's feelings. Now that it's settled, Tuka asked if it's okay for them to hug, which is fine. They hug without malicious thoughts or red flags. Yet MC still tries to get used to family life, but feels like a stranger. However, the thought of giving them up didn't cross his mind, and he is still determined to become a great parent. That is his duty. As for Tuka, she will also do her part in the family. Except with that creepy-looking grin, it's hard to believe or even trust. A few days later, in Tuka's school, a young man is watching her in admiration just for wiping their blackboard. Yes, he was staring at her so hopelessly that he didn't notice someone creeping behind him. Girls are pro at surprises. This man is Kato, and the woman behind him is Honda now. She caught him staring at her friend again and told him it was better to give it up. Kato denied that he was staring at her, which is too late to say since his face got all red, and there was no point in denying when she caught him red-handed. Moving on with Nao's advice, since she has known Tuka since elementary, she witnessed countless boys confessing to her, but not one of them ever dated her, so she's saving up some time and told him it's better to give it up as early as now. Kato knew he had no chance, but he couldn't just erase his feelings for her that easily. And that is true. Nao approached Tuka and invited her to go to the tennis club together. But Tuka needed to submit the class journal first. She is bright and happy-looking in school, the best face to hide something wicked. After that, the girls went to the dressing room to dress up for their tennis play. While they were changing, Nao asked Tuka if she ever wanted to have a boyfriend. This caught Tuka off guard, not expecting Nao to open up such a topic. Tuka kept her cool and told Nao that she had been thinking about relationships, which intrigued her friend even more, asking about her type in men. Tuka didn't give it much time to think, but replied that she wanted someone like her dad. Nao was speechless about her response, but the other girls overheard it and flocked to Tuka, nosy about her love life. Nao would freak out while Sigmund Freud would turn up on his grave. Meanwhile, inside the building, Kato was on his way to his teacher's room when he noticed the gray clouds outside the window. He was worried about the tennis club playing under this weather, but he proceeded to give out the prints to the teacher first. While he was there, the teacher asked Kato if he planned to drop by the tennis club later. This teacher knows well that Kato does have a plan, so he uses this opportunity to cowardly ask him to tell the members to go home early due to the weather, and since it's already Friday. Kato wasn't sure if he could face the girls and notify them, but after a few begging from the teacher, he agreed. As we went to the girls on the tennis court, they noticed they didn't have a score paper. But it was just Tuka with her little forgetting accident, leaving the score paper in the clubroom. She was dear to fetch it though, however, as she jogged towards the clubroom. Kato was also going towards the tennis court, so he passed by Tuka, fate doing its job properly. Since Kato had some urgent message for her, he called out to her despite the rumbling thuds in his chest. I mean the sky. He told Tuka that the activities were cancelled due to rain. Tuka wasn't about to believe him, but the pitter-patter turned heady, so she believed him and returned to take shelter in a canopy. This is how love stories started in novels. Let's hope it develops soon so Hiroto can escape from this gal. They almost got drenched in that unexpected rain, but Kato seemed thankful for the rain and the teacher. However, his heart couldn't stop panicking, wondering what they could discuss. He gathered his courage and shared that the teacher should have told them the club activities were cancelled sooner. And about how the teacher asked him to notify them, he agreed without thinking about it. Tuka agreed with him and said, being eager to help is what makes you a great guy. Trust me, that statement didn't help Kato's panicking heart blurted out, telling Tuka how great she was and how great of a student she is, in terms of academics, which made her question him. Do you like me? Kato didn't know how to answer though, scared that she might have noticed him staring at her and wondered if she was mad about it. Kato froze on his feet, not knowing how to respond. But the more he thinks about it, the more he decides not to let this pass, so Kato confesses and confirms that he likes her. He further explains that since they're classmates, he respects her as a friend, and if something or anything bothered her, he offered himself to help her out. Tuka's only response after this was a thank you and a smile. Shall we bid farewell to our fallen brother? It's too early for that. Things got awkward quickly, with Kato not believing all she could say after his heartfelt confession. He tried to make another conversation and chose to talk about the rain. However, he asked her his burning question: "Do you have someone you like?" Although this question doesn't seem hard to answer for Tuka, she already does. As long as I have him, I don't need anyone else. Kato noticed how genuinely Tuka smiled when talking about this guy, so he started accepting that he didn't have a chance now. Right on time, now arrived with a spare umbrella for both of them. And before she could leave with her friend, she told Kato to keep it a secret between them. As the rain continues to pour, most students are forced to wait inside their classroom, one of them being Kato, and the thoughts about who his biggest crush must be referring to. He couldn't take off her blush and smile, but he couldn't do anything and wanted to go home first. Because of his sudden confession to her, he was worried about how he could look her in the eye on Monday. But the universe didn't wait for Monday, pushing them both to meet in their lockers. He didn't expect to say her name aloud. Now he was forced to have a small conversation, like, "Did you forget your umbrella?" However, Tuka wasn't awkward and answered that she had left her umbrella at home, as if nothing had happened, something he might be relieved or not. As they walk to the exit, Kato offers his umbrella to Tuka since he has a spare one in his bag. But Tuka kindly declines since she was waiting for someone to pick her up, and that someone is her stepfather, looking bright as ever. Hiroto brought her the umbrella and she left home, but Tuka rushed towards him and preferred to share one umbrella so they could walk side by side. Meanwhile, Kato witnessed everything in front of him, seeing how her father is quite young. For some reason, the smile Tuka did when thinking about the guy he likes popped out of his mind, concluding that maybe she was referring to Hiroto, her stepdad. Of course, it's an absurd thought to have, but the way Tuka smiles when looking at Hiroto couldn't go unnoticed. Kato was freaking, and so am I. You may think that Tuka would do something unexpected in front of her father right after they got home after the rain. Well, you're not wrong. Tuka took off her clothes, but something weird was on her back that looked like a massive hole. MC's reaction was understandable. I would react the same way. However, this was just a dream, and MC woke up yelping. He eased himself, reminded that it was just a dream, not noticing Tuka clinging to his arm in bed. When Hiroto heard the familiar and heart-wrenching voice, he immediately looked to his side, only to see Tuka's face up close to him. That would be another jump scare that morning. He wasn't expecting to see her as he woke up, thinking it was still Miyako clinging to him. He frantically asked Tuka what she was doing in his bed, to which she replied that she was there to wake him up. And since she noticed that he was having a nightmare, she decided to comfort him. It may sound normal, but trust me, it doesn't. Although MC just played it cool, saying that he was just embarrassed for her to witness him like that. There's no way in his grave he would dare to tell her that he was weirdly dreaming about her. Not that type of weird, at least. Since Hiroto was uncomfortable, he kindly told Tuka that she mustn't go to her parents' bed, especially in her pajamas. However, Tuka's face was confused, so she showed and proved to Hiroto that she was fully clothed from top to bottom, which I am thankful for. Bless you, clothing senpai. This sudden gesture blinded MC like the sun, covering his eyes and avoiding getting caught by the FBI. But his shock got some consequences, and he accidentally hit his pinky finger on the corner of the bedside table. Tell that hurts more than your girlfriend leaving you. He was shuddering in pain, but Tuka was there to patch his tiny wound with a bandage, being a loving daughter. As he got patched up, Hiroto asked Tuka where her mother was, to which she answered that her mom had to work part-time since somebody in the shop had suddenly taken the day off. Now that his questions are answered, MC informed Tuka that he will be washing up to start the day as an excuse for leaving the bedroom. However, Tuka stopped him and demanded a band-aid on his pinky just like his. Hiroto got confused since she's not even hurt. It was a good point mentioned, but that does not stop Tuka from getting the way she wants. To get the matching band-aid on the pinky finger, Tuka chewed off a portion of her pinky. It's not a normal and cute way since it bled. I think she needs a psychiatrist immediately. This kid just chomped off her skin and proudly showed it to her now mentally confused stepfather, all because she wanted to have the same thing as him. She is making him crazy, literally. For her to not do anything else wild, Hiroto had to patch her up with a slight scold that what she did was completely unnecessary. And I strongly agree. However, according to Tuka, family shares both pain and pleasure, thinking it's acceptable for what she did. But they move on to breakfast since it's the weekend. As they were eating breakfast, MC saw the message Miyako had left him, so at least that part was true. While enjoying their food, Hiroto asked Tuka if she had any club activities that day, to which Tuka replied that she didn't, but she had a practice tomorrow. Tuka also asked MC about his plans for that day, which he wasn't so sure about since he already finished reading the book he borrowed. Hearing this good news, Tuka got an idea, and she blurted out loud that MC could hardly swallow his food. That's right, folks, they're going on a date. As father and daughter, I hope. Hiroto wasn't sure what to feel about it, and tried to discourage Tuka by saying that hanging out with an old man is boring, to which Tuka fully disagreed. Besides, she sweetly smiled and told MC she had something to buy, which would be a great excuse to go out. And since she has a good reason to go out, Hiroto agrees as long as she won't spend his hard-earned money on luxury items. But I bet Tuka's luxury item is her stepdad, so that wouldn't be a problem. A few moments later, after they finished their breakfast and prepared, Tuka finally went out of her room wearing a pretty dress, something she was happy to show to her dad. Without a doubt, MC was also starstruck by her beauty and complimented her. Except for the most exaggerated one, where he thinks she looks like an idol in that dress. Without wasting much time, the two went out and were already hearing incest-related assumptions from the people around them. However, as he looks at Tuka, who is having fun, nothing else matters to him now. Especially not the words from strangers and people who aren't his family. But the day was still long, and Hiroto wondered what Tuka desired to buy. However, she was in front of a bikini boutique, watching a pair of bikinis over the window. Of course, Hiroto knew that would be a bad idea and told Tuka that she should take a look around the shop, and that if she needed anything, he'd be outside waiting. But of course, Tuka is a wicked child and forces her father to bring him inside and let him choose the best bikini there is on display. It was a playful teasing, something Tuka fully enjoyed. Thankfully, Tuka decided not to let MC suffer more and went outside to the real store where she intended to go in the first place. Right after laughing at her father's reaction in the girl's boutique, of course. They went inside a general store that sells antique items, and Tuka was looking for a certain item. It was a wooden music box, something she had always wanted to gift her mom for her birthday, and she had put a picture of the 3 of the minute. This idea was perfect, and MC's heart agreed. Once again, he was shown the kind side of Tuka, if she wasn't always crazy. Hiroto likes this side of her and agreed that giving the music box as a gift would be an amazing present. A few moments later, they went out after purchasing the present. Tuka thanked Hiroto for buying the gift, saying she was short on money. So as an exchange, Hiroto proposed that she should also help him pick a present from Yako, to which Tuka agreed in a heartbeat. This side is somewhat more comfortable, she should act like that more. But before they could go on another shopping spree, Hiroto suggested getting food. Since Tuka wanted a parfait, there was a famous cafe nearby that served one and a group of 3 girls outside the cafe. 2 of them were excited to finally drink the beverage they had been dying to drink. They tried to offer it to their other friend, but she rudely said the beverage had too many calories. Yes, girl, stay healthy. The girls knew she wasn't in the mood, so they no longer bothered her. As the mean girl was texting on her phone, she caught a glimpse of something interesting that might thicken the plot of this mind-boggling story. The mean girl saw how bright Tuka's smile was, something she found interesting. I hope she'll participate in helping MC escape from being led astray. The girl with a possible antagonist vibe is called Eureka. She is a famous figure in social media, and whenever she posts a new picture, she gets tons of likes within minutes or seconds. She seemed to have gotten used to this. Ego surfing does its job, huh? Eureka's friend noticed this, getting impressed by their friend's popularity. And yet, she remains unbothered and has an I don't care personality. However, a scream from Now got their attention. Now was excited to tell Tuko that their picture went viral and asked her permission to post it on their social media. People on the internet were hyping them up, especially the mysterious girl on the back who shows Tuka. Now that they had gained such popularity, Now wished for Tuko to open a social media account like Instagram. For sure, she'll gain more fame than Eureka. Luckily for Eureka, Tuko doesn't understand how the internet works, so she doesn't consider making one. Now was positive as ever and said that cute girls don't do SNS these days. Hearing that commentary made Eureka scrunch her face like she ate a lemon and was disgusted by them. She stood from her desk and walked to the bathroom, where she burst away all her frustration towards Tuko. Let's go back to the origin of this villain. It started when her mother slapped her in the face because she wasn't the number one in school. And since auditions aren't good these days, knowing that her daughter, Eureka, is still halfway through her lessons. Origins always start with a messed up parent. Eureka tried to convince her mom that she had done her best since her score had improved. However, it's still not accepted by the mother. The most messed up thing of all, after traumatizing her daughter, gaslight her by saying that she's being strict with her. Eureka couldn't do anything about it since her mom was all she had. A meeting day for parents was soon scheduled, and Eureka's mother was there. She asked Eureka which one in the class was number one and pointed to Tuko. Seeing her, Eureka's mother wished for Tuko to be her daughter instead, which impacted Eureka's downfall. Typical Asian parents. Her mother then walked away like she didn't say anything highly star of the villain phrase to her daughter. Ever since then, Eureka has envied Tuko. She thinks that ever since Tuko arrived, her reputation in school changed. She has always been the talk of everyone in school, especially her mother. However, in the middle of Eureka's tantrum in the bathroom, Tuko went inside and asked her if she was okay. Oh, awkward. Eureka's reaction to seeing her was unexplainable. But Tuko was an angel and told her that if something bothered her, her ears were free to listen. Eureka composed herself and talked to her in an innocent voice, as if she didn't murder her in her head a few seconds ago. Still, her plan to take her place back from Tuko remains. At first, Eureka thought that Tuko was flawless and perfect. However, just a few days ago, she finally saw her only weakness, Hiroto. As the story's villain, she uploaded the picture of Hiroto and Tuko anonymously, which spread around the class like wildfire. At the same time, she enjoys the heat of the flames. Morning came, and I'd say, let the rumbling begin. Will Eureka's plan work out how she wanted, or will Tuko be happy with the picture instead? Let's find out how the class is starting soon. After a while, students in the classroom were flocking, which confused Kido about what was happening. Thankfully, Now was there to fill him up about what was happening. She showed the picture of Tuko, and NC explained that someone was sending a few people who stayed behind in the classroom after school yesterday. Kido was shocked to hear this, considering it as a form of harassment. Talking about her, Tuko arrived at school unaware of the classroom situation. Everyone looked at her way, looking at her differently. Tuko doesn't know about it and is confused. On the other hand, her friends approached her and asked if she was okay. One of her friends showed her the picture, thinking it was just a prank. Eureka, however, was excited to see Tuko's reaction. Seeing that, Tuko wasn't sure if she should be angry or leave crying. But in the end, she just laughed it out brightly. She looks like she'd rather be thankful to the culprit than get mad. She explained that the man in the picture is her mother's remarried husband, her stepdad. Although she saved the details, she said that her new dad is nice and kind, and if she gets along, her mom looks happy. Boys and mostly everyone in the classroom were relieved to hear it, and later things went back to laughing like it was normal. However, Eureka didn't want this to happen, not liking the outcome of her plan. Things do be like that sometimes, and to make matters worse for her, one of the boys questioned everyone in the classroom about who the culprit was, especially Tuko's friends. Now asked Kido, the classroom representative, about his opinion. Of course, Kido thinks spreading misinformation is defamation and deserves to apologize to Tuko. Now the classroom was full of murmurs and narrowing down on who was left in the classroom yesterday. However, Tuko stopped them from suspecting anyone in the class and assured them she was okay, all while looking at Eureka. The best part is yet to come. Eureka panicked that her cover was blown up, getting pretty anxious. But the bells saved them as their first subject teacher entered the classroom. Later, after the lunch break, Tuko informed Eureka that it was her turn for special classroom cleaning duty. Since Kirai, their classmate, asked Tuko to take her place, the two psychos will be left alone after class. Is the arc starting now? That quick. She got lots of stuff in her pocket. It's crazy. Tuko thanked Yoshida for giving her this opportunity. As their class ended, Tuko was already in the assigned classroom cleaning. Eureka later arrived and mentioned immediately that swapping schedules was just an excuse. She doesn't want to deal with Tuko's climatic speeches and says she was trying to act innocent when no one was looking. Speaking of innocence, Tuko greeted Eureka like she didn't suspect her. But Eureka wants to get it over with, not waiting for her, and said that Tuko had no evidence that she spread the picture. Still, Tuko said that she was glad that Eureka took the picture of them together. Still, for Tuko, It's not good that it's just her who keeps on receiving. So of course, she also found a cute old photo of Eureka with a weird old guy back when Eureka was an idol. Seeing that picture again brought back trauma to Eureka because that guy became a stalker fan and was the reason why she was forced to move. Damn, never mess with Tuko ever again. She quickly snatched the photo from Tuko's hand and tore it into pieces, not wanting to remember the horrific memories. Now that Eureka is vulnerable, Tuko grabs the chance to trap her with the mop. She clarified to Eureka that she doesn't care what others say about her, but she won't forgive her if Eureka lays her hands on her dad. They say you can fight strong people, but never mess with the crazy ones. Right after that, Tuko went away like nothing happened and even smiled, leaving a devastated Eureka alone, trying to make sense of what happened. But one thing is certain, she made it that far and will never return, even if it means destroying her family and her life. She should have learned her lesson by now. As for this bonus chapter, we see a random day when MC went home and sniffed his polo shirt. He remembered that one of his old coworkers was sad that his daughter told him he stinks, which surprised him but not us. Speaking of daughter, Tuko suddenly appeared behind him with a bright smile and the usual blank eyes. MC's soul almost left his body because of her surprise, but he smiled away. Tuko asked what she was doing, sniffing around his shirt like a dog. MC didn't reply to her, but as if she could read the minds of others, she asked an oddly specific question. Are you worried that you smell like an old man? Well, aside from thinking of his old man coworker, getting called old man is hitting him hard with his age. He didn't say much, but Tuko insisted that she can check out his smell for him. Without waiting for her father's answer, Tuko went closer to MC and smelled him very carefully. After a few minutes on his chest, she was happy to declare that he smelled nice. She smiled sweetly with those dangerous eyes while MC got that terrified look. He said his thank you and excused himself to take a bath before he flopped down to the ground, catching for air as he was relieved from that scary encounter. Dude looks like he's living with the ghost of a serial killer. Taking you back to when MC first met Tuko, he and Tuko's mother, Miyako, were meeting at a local cafe. They were waiting patiently for Tuko to arrive, while MC was getting anxious about meeting his stepdaughter for the first time. Miyako noticed him getting nervous, which MC didn't deny. He doesn't know how to talk towards her, laughing it off like it's nothing. To ease her future husband, Miyako held his hand and assured her that Tuko was a nice girl and that it even made her wonder if she deserved such a good daughter like her. Seeing a proud mother like Miyako brings warmth to MC, so he looks at her and admires her. A few minutes later, the cafe's bell suddenly rang, indicating that a customer had arrived. It was Tuko, and she was wearing her school uniform as her eyes wandered around the cafe, looking for her mother and soon-to-be stepdad. After a while, her eyes met MC's eyes, and he saw her mother with him, so he bowed in respect as Tuko's eyes glistened at the sight of his new father. Going back in time again to yesterday, the mother and daughter were at their apartment, sitting at their dining table as Miyako reminded Tuko that tomorrow was a big day. She creepily asked Tuko if they could make a go for it, whatever their plan may be. Tuko smiled and said that since her mother chose him, it would work out without a doubt. With that, they did a pinky swear with Tuko, assuring her mother that they would be happy together with their stepdad. And that day finally came when Tuko's stepdad was anxiously introducing himself in a formal way. The only thing Tuko reacted to was laughing at how robotic he sounded. Miyako had to slightly scold Tuko to act properly, while MC panicked about his existence. Tuko then introduced herself properly, which made MC smile as if she were his first friend in kindergarten. You can't blame the guy who expected to be rejected or get any negative reaction. But Tuko was surprisingly very friendly. She shared her likes and her birthday with MC, which was a lot that MC felt the need to take notes in order to impress his future stepdaughter for future purposes. Her mother had to scold her again for getting MC a hard time, but MC didn't mind it and was glad that she told him. As we can see, MC was clearly worried about what might happen. But Tuko's easygoing and friendly personality made things easier. Seeing his women laughing together, with her kind and tender Miyako, MC had a feeling that their lives would be filled with happiness. Except for the way Miyako and Tuko held hands, which seems to give off an odd feeling. Nothing wrong with holding hands. It's just how the artist gave the vignette, making us assume there's something. Like I'm beginning to think the previous dad didn't just pass away in an incident. A day passed and Kareri noticed nothing unusual in the classroom. even though something intense happened yesterday. She looked over to Tuko, unsure what to feel, but still blushed with their interaction yesterday. How does she know, though? And what happened? Let's step back to the past of our not-so-background character now. Her name is Yoshida Kureri, after her parents, who met at an anime club university, decided to name their daughter after their favorite anime character. That's how two otakus fall in love. However, Kureri didn't seem to like this idea because for her, who would even name their daughter such a beautiful name and end up like her? Still, that's just her thought. In their classroom, the students are divided into different teams. We have the first string team, which comprises attractive athletes and their entourage, the second string team, made up of ordinary people, and the third string team, where the so-called introvert students are. Where does she belong, you ask? She is on a team lower than the other team in this social hierarchy, called the loners, which sadly only consists of just her. She's not being bullied for it though, which is good. Kureri is her classmates' go-to person when it comes to notes. However, those conversations are all she ever has with her classmates. And just like in every manga, there comes the story's protagonist. In this case, it's Nishitalko. Kureri defines Tuka as flawless, whose every movement is beautiful, and everyone wants to protect a sacred existence. If my girlfriend won't describe me like this, I'm out. Meanwhile, Kureri defines herself as the background character, Yoshida's son. Nobody really pays attention. She has no friends to eat with during lunchtime, so she gets up, takes her lunch, and eats in her safe place, the art room. Even though she's a loner, she doesn't care because it is better than she was in middle school. Right after yesterday's photo incident, we saw the revelation behind Tuka and Kureri's relationship. While Kureri was relaxing inside the art room, a celestial being came and spoke to her with an angelic voice. She panicked before Tuka's existence that she accidentally blabbered her response. What is Tuka doing with a loner? Maybe let's not judge anyone here except for Tuka, since she's a straight-up psycho. Still, all she wants is to have lunch with Kureri together. Gain an asset's trust, they say. Tuka sat in front of Kureri and apologized for barging in like that. While Kureri was still making sense of what had just happened, her mind immediately thought of the photo incident that morning. Tuka explained that the classroom got tiresome that day, so she ran away and went there. But that's not the only intention why she's there. Tuka asked if Kureri would like her to do her duty clean that day instead. Kureri found responding hard, since she was still processing her conversation with an angel. She clarified to Tuka if she wanted them to switch cleaning schedules, but Tuka only needed it for today. It's okay for Kureri, but there was a but in the end. However, Tuka grabbed her hand and thanked Kureri quickly. She was stunned at Tuka's soft and slender hand touching hers. But most of all, Tuka called her by her name, and for the first time, it was as if her name shone brightly. Tuka then gave her apples as a thank you, and that was the start of Kureri's fun lunchtime. However, curiosity got the best of her, and she decided to stalk them in the classroom. Curiosity killed the cat. She was wondering why Tuka suddenly wanted to take over her cleaning duty, listing over the possibility, until she realized that her cleaning partner was Yurika Kanazawa. She couldn't hear what they were talking about, but as she peered at the door, she saw the two ladies so close to each other that you would think they were kissing. Gosh, if only she knew. She can only wonder and come up with different conclusions, but could never know what happened inside. Later, she heard the door open, indicating they'd leave, so she must also. However, as Kureri escapes, she bumps her head on Eureka, who gets mad, saying, "Maybe you should lose some weight." Given Eureka's mood, Kureri wasn't sure what happened back there. Since that's done, let's return to the present, the day after the incident. After class, Eureka went home earlier, reasoning that she had business to take care of. But she went to the train station where she changed her clothes into a more mature-looking woman. Meanwhile, our MC tried to catch up with his usual train on time, but the leech had different plans and intentionally bumped herself into MC, acting weak. She said that she was getting dizzy and asked Hiroto to take her somewhere to sit down. Of course, as a gentleman, Hiroto offered his help, something Eureka planned to do. Poor Hiroto, he got two psychos after him now. Not to mention, Eureka just signed her death for that. After MC buying a bottle of water to the damsel in distress, he asked Eureka how she was feeling. She replied with a thank you for helping him, before assuring MC that she's fine. Her acting of being in a helpless situation was activated to try and manipulate MC. She asked in a soft voice if MC was in a hurry to go somewhere, to which he, as an ordinary man with a family, answered that he was just going home. Deep inside, he was saddened because he just missed his usual train. After confirming that the woman is now feeling better, MC stood up and excused himself, ready to go home. However, Eureka wasn't done with her mischievous plan yet. She took MC's hand and studied like there were words carved in it to make it seem interesting. But she was actually looking at MC's ring, assuming that he is already married. MC understood and said that he just got married earlier that year, so he asked if there's something wrong about it. Eureka smiled and said, "That's right. I'm sure a kind man like yourself has a wonderful family. As for me, I don't want to go home." At first it was all innocent, but the moment she took MC's palm into her cheeks and caressed it, MC felt tense. Eureka shared how lonely she is even when she's home, wanting MC to stay a little longer with her and would do anything as a thank you. But of course, our MC ain't that kind of man, so he pulled his hands out at instinct, which caught her off guard. He even apologized for that sudden gesture, tumbling his words as he tried to explain, but chose not to give out more context, so he left. As Eureka seethed over the failure of her plan, she vowed to devise a new strategy to accomplish her goals. She couldn't let this setback deter her. She was determined to climb the social ladder and assert her dominance within the classroom. Eureka found herself strolling through the streets, blissfully unaware that her phone had been ringing incessantly. Her mom, a master of the mom-calling technique, had caught wind of her daughter's wandering ways. "Eureka, why aren't you answering my calls?" echoed her mother's voice from the phone. Caught in the act, Eureka's mind raced for an excuse. She quickly conjured up an impromptu story about being at a friend's place, casually chilling. Smooth, right? But her mom, being the detective she thought she was not fooled. She pressed on, demanding to know where Eureka was heading. The pressure was on. "Dieter, Mom, just taking a little detour," Eureka exclaimed, hoping her spontaneous wordplay would distract her mom from the real question. To her surprise, the detour excuse worked like a charm, and her mom casually mentioned they had a guest at home. Panic set in. Who could this mysterious guest be? Eureka's mind raced through the possibilities. Yuzuha, Rico. But her excitement turned to worry. Her mom didn't particularly like her friends, so why the sudden change in mood? As she raced home, the fear intensified. What if it was the top-ranked student she had once mentioned to her mom? The one her mom believed to be the epitome of perfection. Gasping for breath, Eureka burst through the front door, only to find her mom and a surprisingly cheerful guest engaged in a lively conversation. The guest was none other than Takeo, a classmate of Eureka's. The world seemed to freeze for a moment. Eureka's internal monologue screamed, not Takeo. Not the sweet but slightly eccentric Takeo. Takeo, oblivious to Eureka's inner turmoil, apologized for the unannounced visit, and Eureka's mom insisted it was a pleasure to have her. Eureka, meanwhile, struggled to process the unexpected turn of events. As Takeo bid her farewell, Eureka managed a mumbled greeting. The house, once filled with a tension of secrecy, now echoed with awkwardness. Little did Eureka know that this unplanned encounter was just the beginning of a series of teenage escapades involving detours, unexpected guests, and a lot of inside jokes that only the teenagers of Shirogane could truly appreciate. As Eureka stumbled into her home, she was greeted by the unexpected sight of Takeo engaging in a lively conversation with her mother. Panic set in, but Eureka, ever the people pleaser, at least when it came to her mom, put on a forced smile. "Hey Takeo, what brings you here?" Eureka asked, her words stumbling over each other in a horrendously awkward dance. Takeo, however, remained cheerful, explaining she wanted to visit and chat. In her usual sharp-eyed manner, Eureka's mom noticed her daughter's odd behavior. Mid-sentence, she slightly splashed the tray of tea she was holding, a physical manifestation of her irritation. "Eureka, dear, you came home all in a rush, and now you're speaking like you've never spoken before," her mom remarked, a touch of annoyance in her voice. Caught in the act, Eureka, always quick on her feet, launched into an elaborate tale about her urgency to return home. She explained she had been shopping for clothes with her friends, hoping this would distract her mom from the awkwardness. However, with a skeptical eyebrow raised, her mom demanded to see the receipts. But before the mother-daughter feud could escalate, Takeo's presence acted like a temporary ceasefire. Eureka's mom apologized to Takeo, encouraging her to help herself to some tea. Takeo, always the ray of sunshine, expressed her gratitude, seemingly unaffected by the underlying tension. Eureka's mom, unable to resist, started complimenting Teiko profusely, commenting on her beauty and academic achievements. Eureka cringed, realizing that her mom was not so subtly hinting at what she wished her daughter could be. Teiko is such a good girl, isn't she? I bet her mom is so proud. Eureka's mom remarked, making sure Eureka heard every word. Eureka, trying to save face, mumbled, "It's not like that." But her heart sank when her mom added, "It would be nice if Eureka could be more like Teiko, but without the whole half-assed and incomplete thing." The room fell into an uncomfortable silence as Eureka's mom's words hung in the air. Teiko, blissfully unaware, sipped her tea, and Eureka wished for the ground to swallow her whole. Little did they know that this encounter would leave a lasting impact on Eureka, shaping her journey through the labyrinth of teenagehood and the tumultuous relationship with her ever-demanding mother. As Eureka desperately tried to divert the conversation away from the uncomfortable praise Fest her mom was hosting in Teiko's honor, she couldn't help but make a sarcastic remark. "Mom, don't be too clingy with Teiko. You're practically bothering her," Eureka quipped, hoping to cut through the tension. Surprisingly, Teiko laughed it off, insisting she enjoyed every attention. In a heartfelt revelation, she shared that her mother had a frail body, and she rarely received such care and attention. Teiko, with a genuine smile, expressed her envy for Eureka, who had a mother who cared so deeply for her. Eureka's mom, touched by Teiko's sincerity, went as far as to remark, "It would have been nice if you were my daughter instead of Eureka." They laughed and bonded, leaving Eureka in the shadows of her own despair. The pain intensified as Eureka overheard her mom openly favoring Teiko as if she were the long-lost daughter she never had. The fun times were only fun for two, and the third wheel, Eureka, was silently drowning in the sea of her mother's misplaced affections. In a feeble attempt to regain some control, Eureka mustered the courage to ask Teiko the purpose of her visit. Her mom chimed in, revealing that Teiko had forgotten something and needn't have bothered to come all the way to deliver it. "Oh, I'm sorry, Eureka. It took me a while to bring it to you." Teiko apologized, her eyes reflecting a mix of genuine regret and an awareness of the tension in the room. Eureka's mom, seemingly oblivious to the tension, chimed in with another loaded question. "Eureka, what is it that you don't like about Teiko?" It was an uncomfortable moment of truth hanging heavily in the air. Teiko's eyes darted between Eureka and her mom, sensing the underlying tension. At that moment, Eureka felt the weight of her inadequacies laid bare for everyone. The room fell silent as Teiko presented Eureka's missing pen case, a seemingly innocent gesture that sent shivers down Eureka's spine. How did Teiko end up with it? Eureka's mind raced with questions, but she dared not voice them. "I've got everything here, Eureka." Teiko reassured her, a hint of mischief in her eyes. She casually mentioned opening the borrowed pen case, leaving Eureka bewildered. What pen case? What was Teiko talking about? Then it happened. Teiko pulled out a pen, or at least what she wanted them to believe. But it wasn't a pen, it was a condom. Time froze as the revelation hung in the air, a bombshell that shattered the fragile facade of innocence. Oh, that. It must have toppled in by accident. Teiko tried to downplay the situation, but the damage was done. With wide eyes and a mixture of shock and disappointment, Eureka's mom stared at the unexpected item. Eureka, defensive and panicked, denied any knowledge of the condom. Desperation crept into her voice as she pleaded with her mom to erase the image from her mind. At that moment, Eureka realized that her attempt to escape her mom's scrutiny had backfired catastrophically. Teiko, seizing the opportunity, shifted the blame. She spoke of rumors of an unfamiliar adult man and suggested that Eureka needed to stop whatever questionable activity she was involved in. The words, spoken in front of Eureka's mom, echoed like a death sentence. Eureka's mom, now viewing her daughter through a lens of distrust, expressed her disappointment and proclaimed she had been too lenient. In a heart-wrenching moment, she referred to Eureka as repulsive. The demand was clear. Eureka had to lay everything bare. Phone, wallet, receipt bag, every last secret was to be exposed. Panic surged through Eureka's veins. The condom story and the mysterious man all concocted lies. With the video on her phone, the evidence of her deception threatened to bring everything crashing down. As Eureka faced the impending reveal, a single thought echoed in her mind. Onward to hell or retreat to hell, the choice seemed equally unbearable. The evening sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across Eureka's residence. Hiroto returned home slightly later than usual, blissfully unaware of the turmoil that had unfolded within those four walls. Sensing the unease, Miyako busied herself with preparing dinner, hoping to maintain a semblance of normalcy. Hiroto, however, didn't immediately share the events of the evening with Miyako. Instead, he asked about Teiko, who had yet to return home. Miyako, ever the calm and collected wife, assured Hiroto that Teiko would be fine. After all, that was just Teiko being Teiko. Hiroto, though late, expressed his concern for Teiko, a flicker of worry etching his face. Back at Eureka's house, her mother's demands escalated. In a desperate attempt to prove her innocence, Eureka reluctantly complied, furiously scattering the contents of her bag on the table. She declared her innocence with a defensive fervor, pointing the finger at Teiko and painting her as the mastermind behind the chaos. Yet, her mother remained unconvinced. The final demand hung in the air: Eureka's phone. This time, Eureka refused. The room fell into a stunned silence. No, Eureka stated firmly, a hint of defiance in her voice. The shock on her mother's face was palpable. Eureka seized the opportunity to speak her truth, her words slicing through the heavy air. She bared her soul, expressing the suffocation of being constantly controlled by her mother. In an attempt to manipulate the situation, Eureka played the victim card, pleading for her mother's belief. "Can you believe your own daughter for once?" Eureka's desperate words echoed in the room, a plea for recognition, for a shred of trust. The despair in her voice was matched only by the disbelief on her mother's face. But despite Eureka's impassioned defense, her mother's loyalty remained misplaced, favoring Teiko over her own daughter. The fracture in their relationship deepened, leaving Eureka drowning in a sea of disbelief and betrayal. The room echoed with a sharp crack of a slap as Eureka's mother's hand connected with her daughter's cheek. The force of the blow sent Eureka reeling, her phone slipping from her grasp and crashing to the floor. Teiko, quick-witted as ever, surreptitiously snatched the fallen phone, unseen by the tumultuous scene unfolding. Eureka's mother, her eyes ablaze with fury, demanded respect, reminding Eureka that she wasn't just anyone, she was her mother. The explosion of anger was a shock to everyone, especially Teiko, who had never witnessed Eureka defy her mother in such a way. As Eureka's mother berated her daughter, she questioned the very foundation of their relationship. "Who feeds you, clothes you, pays your school fees?" she spat out, each word dripping with disappointment. It was a heartbreaking moment as Eureka's mother, who had dedicated herself to providing for her daughter, felt the sting of betrayal. Eureka, still defiant, expressed her dissatisfaction, claiming that her mother's efforts were causing her pain rather than happiness. The words hung in the air, a painful testament to the growing chasm between mother and daughter. Meanwhile, as the domestic drama unfolded, Teiko seized the opportunity to delve into Eureka's phone. With stealthy precision, she navigated through Eureka's private videos, seeking ammunition to further her own agenda. She discovered the video of Eureka's ill-fated attempt to seduce Hiroto and wasted no time in sharing it with Miyako. As if that wasn't enough, Teiko, with a sinister smile, opened Eureka's Instagram, initiating a live broadcast. Unbeknownst to Eureka and her mother, their private ordeal was now on display for the world to witness. As the watchers expressed concern over the unfolding events, Teiko reveled in her perceived victory, the twisted satisfaction evident in her triumphant smile. The storm that had been brewing in the confined space of Eureka's home had now spilled onto the public stage, leaving both mother and daughter exposed to the merciless judgment of an unseen audience. The room became a battleground as Eureka's mother unleashed her pent-up anger upon her daughter's belongings. Possessions that had once held sentimental value were now reduced to shattered fragments scattered across the floor. Eureka stood helpless, unable to stop the onslaught, each item becoming a casualty of their fractured relationship. "You don't need these anymore," Eureka's mother exclaimed, her voice filled with a mix of frustration and despair. The destruction continued as a tangible manifestation of the emotional chaos that had engulfed their lives. As the room transformed into a debris field of shattered dreams, Eureka's mother couldn't help but question how they had reached such a point. Desperation filled the air as she pleaded with Eureka to cease being a torment, the weight of their broken family picture pressing heavily on both their hearts. Amidst the wreckage, mother and daughter found themselves sobbing, their tears blending with the shards of a once happy life. The remnants of their shared history lay scattered around them, a poignant symbol of the irreparable damage that had been done. Meanwhile, on the train home, Tako reveled in the success of her twisted plan. A smile played on her lips as she rode through the city, completely indifferent to the emotional turmoil she had left in her wake. For Tako, everything was going to be all right now. She even took a moment to update her mother on the situation, ending the call with a satisfied grin. The stark contrast between Tako's euphoria and Eureka's shattered reality marked a turning point in their intertwined destinies. Little did they know, the echoes of this night would reverberate through their lives, leaving lasting scars that time alone could never heal. As the bright morning came, we saw Hiroto talking to somebody on the phone. Their conversation sounded like they were planning a vacation, with the caller excited about it, but MC wasn't sure if his schedule would fit their plans. He later hung up the call and sighed in annoyance for receiving something so early in the morning. However, as he opened the door, he was greeted by the bright Tako, smiling ever so widely. Although that greeting low-key scared him, he must still greet back, stuttering. They later went to the table with Miyako for breakfast, and Tako asked him about whom he had been talking to on the phone earlier. He replied awkwardly that it was his parents, but Tako was still skeptical and wouldn't believe him, raising her eyebrow. Hiroto's body was screenshotted, and he quickly took out his phone to show Tako his call history. "Why so defensive, Papa?" In the end, Tako was joking because it's not like Hiroto is a cheater, right? She laughed heartily at Hiroto because Tako went home late last night. As the laughter echoed through the kitchen, the atmosphere lightened, but the comedic relief was short-lived after the following events that might traumatize Hiroto again. MC turns on the TV to check for the weather, noticing how lively Tako is, so he also goes with her flow. As the TV showed the news, it turned out that Eureka's live viral video made it to the news, showing the footage of the incident. Their faces were blurred out, as well as their names, to protect the victim. MC's face was disgusted and disappointed seeing such a thing on TV, especially since it happened just last night, and a lot of those abuses are real in life. However, as he looked at Tako's reaction, he wasn't expecting her to be smiling, with a hint of mischievous glare in her eyes, especially since the news showed a kid her age getting abused, a chilling sight down his spine. But Tako wasn't smiling because of the news, but because the weather for that day was sunny, yet no normal person would smile amid that tragic news. With that, Tako stood up and bid her farewell to Hiroto since she'd be off to school. But Hiroto was speechless at what he had just seen, short enough. Her stepdaughter was a psychopath. Later on campus, especially in Tako and Eureka's classroom, students talked about the incident live and on the news. Most students don't know the whole story, but heard the victim calling out Mama the entire time. Other students learned that the victim was Kanazawa Eureka, since she used to be a junior idol and some men knew her. And since the news spread overnight like wildfire, their classmates already knew she wouldn't be at school that day. Tako, on the other hand, showed up in school smiling like she hadn't heard the news, so her classmates and friends showed her the footage and informed her that it was broadcast on Instagram, where Eureka got beat up pretty bad, and the part where her mother was later arrested. The others show empathy, feeling bad, and trying to show how terrified she was when she saw it on TV, but now doesn't buy it, thinking she sounds more happy than terrified. Meanwhile, as she looked towards Tako, she saw her smiling, hoping her mother would come home soon. Now didn't hear her mumbling clearly, and Tako didn't say it again. She then put her bag on her table, where she had to pass by Kareri, to which Tako intentionally bumped a little. And since she craved to be seen for years now, that little bump by an angel was like a blessing by God for Kareri. Meanwhile, Eureka's two friends were worried about her, trying to contact her ever since, but Eureka never reached out. They can only wonder about Eureka's condition in these challenging times without much choice. Speaking of Eureka, her situation wasn't all great. Here, bruises are visible, and she's stuck with a relative who was hesitant to take her in due to having her own family. Even though she kinda tries to destroy Hiroto's marriage with that video, seeing her in such a situation is still painful. Nobody deserves to be treated like that. My biggest sympathy to Asian kids growing up with typical Asian parents. It's never a day, too, without getting compared. As Eureka sat in the bathroom, dazed and too shaken from the tragic incident last night, she could hear her auntie calling her out in the bathroom, talking to her ever so gently that she would be out for a while. She's too soft for her to be concerned about Eureka catching a cold in the shower. However, this isn't just for Eureka, but also for the aunt's sanity. She has too much on her plate with her kids, so she has no time to deal with Eureka. But all Eureka could think about was the incident. It was as if it was a vivid dream. Her memories and regrets filled her even after the incident, as if leaving a scar on her white skin. She wished she would have endured the beating longer, so her mother would listen to what she had to say. But just then, a pair of men in uniform came barging into their premises, interrupting the painfully throbbing abuse her mother did. A female police then came rushing towards her, trying to comfort her while more men in uniform came in. She saw one of them getting her phone, and that's when she realized that everything was live-streamed from her phone. Amid the chaos, her mother was later sent away by the police, and Eureka cried at the sight of her mother getting escorted away, as if she clings to the only family she has left, forgetting the painful beating she had to endure just a few moments ago. Before her mother could get in the police car, she made sure to cut Eureka's wound deeper until it marked her soul by saying, "I shouldn't have given birth to you." Anyone in this world would break down when their mother, their only person, would be in pain to hear it. Just like how Eureka's world is now in pieces. Tears just fell down, and not a word to respond to what her mother said, but feelings flowed. Anger, resentment, regrets, sadness, all of it, until she broke down and screamed out of disappointment. Who knows? Eureka's life, laid bare on her phone's live stream, had turned into a twisted reality show, with a plot thicker than Grandma's Grady. It's been a few days since then. Eureka's mother hasn't returned, and her phone has been ringing since she got back, now that she's alone with her thoughts and emotions. Impulsive thoughts linger in her head as she traces the blade of the scissors. Now that she has become a star and the spotlight of local social media, not in the best way, she couldn't help but notice people pretending to be worried and being empathetic. But none of them would know the real deal of Eureka's struggles, not only about the incident, but from the years before. Eureka doesn't want to be pitted by them, confused as to why she and her mother deserve such suffering, even though they did nothing wrong. She broke the bathroom mirror, which her auntie would be furious about when she saw it when she got home. But none of that matters now. The question why still lingers in her head until she concludes that Taco is certainly at fault in all of these. She was the one that stole everyone from Eureka, especially her mother. Eureka merely wants to take back what was once hers, something she couldn't see anything wrong with, because ever since she was a child, she grew up thinking that pushing anyone down that gets in her way would make her mother proud. One time when she was a kid, Eureka didn't get the lead character in the school play, so she pushed the girl who played the lead, and she was greeted by a loving, proud mother for her little achievements. Ever since then, nobody has dared to stand in her way, until a prodigy and a psychopath came to intervene in her life, and her mother didn't look at Eureka the same way ever again. "If only she were gone," said Eureka, gripping the knife in her hand as tightly as she ever could as she slowly lost herself and her sanity, something that would be hard to obtain back. All she could think of was the bad things that Tuco had done to her, blaming her for everything that had happened, and for tricking her into falling into her trap. She is too lost that she's not thinking straight, even left the shower running, which would make her auntie mad once she got home, but as if she cares about that. Eureka then put on her clothes despite still being wet from the shower, then went to the kitchen and browsed over which knife to use. As if driven by the forces of darkness, Eureka went out with a tote bag to hide what would be a murder weapon. All she could think of was the desperate measure she would take to bring their life back with her abusive mother. As she strolls in the dark alley of the village, the thought of Tuco's reaction once she gets her revenge must be satisfying, as she has no plan of forgiving her even when she pleads for mercy. But she doesn't intend to hurt Tuco, but rather someone she holds on to dearly, her Hiroto. This would happen if you're out of your mind. However, in the worst-case scenario, Eureka bumped into someone big enough to stumble on her fragile body, and her tote bag was dropped, exposing the knife inside it. We can't say that we should be thankful that somebody would stop her from doing something she'll later regret, because the person she just bumped into was one of the reasons why she was broken. The man was the harasser and stalker from years ago, the one that has been looking for her ever since she moved houses. Eureka watched him with horror, wondering what he was doing there and how he knew she lived close by. The guy explained that he saw the broadcast and immediately thought Eureka needed him to help her, assuming that it was her mother who forcefully separated them. This guy's delusions are scary. He needs to be behind bars, shaken and scared. All Eureka could think of was to escape from this monster before her. So she reached out for the knife behind her, only for her hand to be held strongly by the man, stopping her from hurting herself. "Don't be afraid, Eureka," the man said as a comfort to her. But in reality, it was doing the complete opposite of comfort. Eureka wanted to shout and ask someone for help, but it seemed as if she had lost her voice as well as her mind. to think and run away, and all she could say was, "Mama, trust me. It's as heavy as a black hole in my chest right now." The author sure likes to leave us traumatized. Meanwhile, on the other, more bright side of Japan, Teoko was reading a story about a beautiful princess that the citizens loved and cared about dearly. But the princess's mother, the queen, was strict and wouldn't let anyone near her daughter. Then came a prince, and they fell in love with each other. But the queen found out and got mad, so she locked away the princess on top of a high tower. Teoko was reading the story to MC, who was listening attentively as Teoko continued the tale. The prince overcame all the hardship and rescued the princess from the tower, and they live happily ever after. She closed the book enthusiastically, waiting for what Hiroto thought of it. But his reaction didn't disappoint, and he was very supportive of her. Teoko explained that she volunteered to read the story aloud for the class, which Hiroto was proud of. A few minutes later, Miyako called over to them for dinner, which they went over quickly, as Teoko left her storybook on her bedside table where her and Hiroto's picture taken by Eureka rested. Can't we all agree it was a cruel ending? Kidding, we haven't gotten to the best part yet. Months have passed since then, which isn't supposed to be without hearing anything from Eureka. It's concerning how people move on and forget Eureka. By people, I'm referring to the author itself. But what can we do? People get to move on with their lives. As for their classmates, they were sharing their plans for a summer holiday. One of them gets to go on a beach vacation with her boyfriend and asks what Teoko's plans are for her holiday. One of them told the curious friend that Teoko always disappeared at the beginning of the summer, which got the girl panicked and curious. Now also panicked, making up reasons that maybe Teoko just had chores to do. But it was too late because the girl asked her the million-dollar question. However, Teoko's only answer was really brief: "It's a secret." She smiled sweetly at them, but unlike them, we got to know where Teoko was really going. Their first summer adventure will take place in the countryside in Japan. The family went on a trip by car and arrived at Hiroto's childhood home to spend a week at their house with his mom and Teoko's step-grandma. As they arrived and parked the car properly, Miyako thanked MC for the pleasant trip, but it was the opposite of what Hiroto thought, so he apologized for taking so long. They're both too kind to each other, so it's a wonder how Teoko got her psychotic tendency. MC went to the back of the car to get their baggage. Teoko was also there to help him with it, so Hiroto thinks it's a good time to ask, "Teoko, did you get carsick?" She answered with lots of energy that she was fine, considering she had been looking forward to that trip. She smiles brightly, and then that night's moon like that trip would never tire her out. Hearing this, Hiroto was glad that she was fine the whole ride, secretly hoping that he didn't make her feel uncomfortable. That smile says she wasn't lying though. Might as well trust what she says when it comes to him. Afterward, the family went inside to greet their grandma and Hiroto's mother. She greeted Hiroto at the entrance, saying, "Took you long enough, because it's been a while since Hiroto came home," so she's glad that her son didn't stray in life. Then there's Miyako and Teoko, who bowed to the grandma in respect and greeted them. The grandma invited the family over to enter their house, suggesting that they rest after the long hours of the trip. Their house was a traditional Japanese house, and the grandmother settled in an atatami room. Hiroto will take his own room, right? He agreed, but there's something missing that Hiroto looked forward to seeing. So he asks his mother where Chika, his sister, is and wonders if she will be home. His mother answered that Chika was already home. She just needed to buy some stuff at the grocery store and would be back soon, so she hurried MC to light up the incense at the altar. He did what his mother told him to, greeting his grandpa, grandma, and dad, saying that he was already home. As he prayed, Teoko and Miyako were behind him, sitting formally and waiting for him to finish the ritual. Later on, Chika greeted everybody and said that she was already home. As she entered the room and greeted her brother while holding her baby, Hiroto greeted back and went to them to see his nephew growing like a beanstalk. "You're alone, or with wife and daughter?" Chika asked Hiroto, to which he told her they were in the other room. Chika was excited to see them because she hadn't met them yet, and as she entered the room, Teoko greeted her first. Chika was stunned, seeing her as if she had seen a ghost or something. What's even odd is that they look quite similar. Is this what Freud Sigmund warns us about? Anyway, Chika was also stuttering on her words and could only say hello to them. Although she admits that Teoko is pretty, she keeps getting an eerie feeling about her. Wait until she'll see her odd side, she might collapse. Later, the grandma called everybody for dinner. They all went to the dining table full of delicious meals prepared especially for them, a feast on welcoming her daughter, especially her son, who finally got a family. But old Granny isn't gonna let him off the bait that easily, especially when he never calls her back, and now that he's there, Hiroto has no reason not to answer her questions. "Spill your guts. How are you doing?" said old Granny in an authoritative tone. But Hiroto has his own low-key ways of avoiding the questions by answering them in a way that doesn't really answer her question directly. According to him, she doesn't have to rush because they'll be staying there for a week. Chika sided with her mother, telling MC that it's understandable for her to ask so many questions because Hiroto never visits her. In the middle of the feast, Chika suggested pouring a glass of alcohol to Miyako, but she kindly declined. Granny immediately thought that maybe Miyako was carrying a baby, which alerted Hiroto and Chika's senses. Hiroto immediately intervened, saying that she couldn't drink alcohol because of her health problem, so he served her tea as a more healthy beverage. The way he panics and stutters makes it very obvious. He's easy to read like a book without a cover page. Granny understood the assignment and could only smile at them, and continue annoying her son rather than his wife. Meanwhile, Tuko didn't understand what was going on. But who am I to know what she's thinking? And what's going on behind those eyes? Chika tried to distract and be a good host to Tuko by serving her fruit juice while making conversation with her. Tuko was being kind and she smiled a lot, but on Chika's side she got awkward very easily. As she thinks about it, her brother Hiroto got a wife and a stepdaughter. She judged her brother's wife for being meek despite giving birth at a young age. She hadn't expected her brother to marry a single mother since he grew up, seeing how their mother was fine with it somehow. We can never judge a single parent for being contented or not. Right after they all finished their dinner, the dishes were staking up like a pyramid, so Miyako decided to lend her mother-in-law a hand with it so they would finish quick. Meanwhile, the others went to the living room and watched TV, when Chika's son suddenly crawled into Tuko and played with her hair. Chika apologizes for her son's behavior, but she doesn't mind and even want to hold him. Chika agreed, but her awkwardness can't be hidden as she sweats a lot, as if she's suspecting Tuko for something that her age couldn't possibly do. Or maybe Chika's senses are just sharp for her to notice something wrong with her being. Anyway, as Tuko was playing with the child, Chika noticed how Hiroto looked lovingly at Tuko, having fun. Part of her was glad seeing him contented with his family, and was relieved that Tuko didn't see it as weird when staying over at her stepfather's family's house. Chika knew how teens her age tend to be overdramatic, but seeing them like that made her conclude they get along well. But that thought will be ruined after one statement Tuko would say. "Do you want to make a baby?" MC's soul disappeared hearing Tuko say such a thing, while Chika's face felt like she had seen something sinister in front of her. The classic what the duck moments. All Hiroto could do was decline rather than assume that she meant that he and her mother should make one, and not them because it would make things weird. Tuko continues to innocently play with the babe, probably daydreaming of having one soon. Chika got awkward in that situation. She couldn't move on from what she heard, so she needed to get out of there by getting her baby back and making up an excuse that it was time for her to check his diaper. About time, Granny arrived at the living room and suggested that Tuko should have a bath. She agreed, so Granny helped her get a change of clothes. Meanwhile, in the other room, Chika couldn't help but get weirded out by what she heard from Tuko, thinking that maybe she was using Hiroto to bait and accuse him of groping and then blackmail him for money. It was a concerning thing to hear that couldn't be brushed off with a laugh, but the comments section in the chapter got everyone concerned for Chika's health, knowing how bad it would turn out if she'll investigate. Later that night, as the clock struck midnight, Chika was still in their kitchen, busy doing her research about troubles with stepchildren, feeling the need to know if there were issues that others to parents had that were similar to Tuko's. She was so busy scrolling on her phone that Granny caught her still awake. Chika didn't pay her mind. She still focused on reading and researching about stepchildren issues. She was about to go to bed. She reasoned out. Granny asked if she wanted some tea, to which Chika agreed. Granny then sat down after serving her tea, trying to make a conversation with her daughter. She felt like it's been a while since Oben. Their hometown felt crowded, something that relieved her considering that the Japanese countrysides tend to get abandoned and forgotten. Granny also asked if Chika's husband, Kasoka, would pay a visit to them tomorrow, but Chika could only answer it briefly and straightforwardly by saying Kasoka was busy. That seems to be a normal thing for him. but Granny could only hope that he would take a few days off for Oben at least. A grandmother's care makes you feel something in the heart. Still, seeing their son Minato is enough for Granny's heart. She loves him so much that she even put him as her wallpaper, and it's something she also would love to see for Hiroto's kids. While all this hurry with marriage, she mumbled to herself, Granny didn't expect to be a grandmother of a high school girl so suddenly. That's why she yearned for her son to have one with his own flesh and blood. That didn't go unnoticed by Chika, so it would be a good time to talk about it. For starters, she asks her mother what she thinks about Hiroto's marriage in a whisper, scared that they might hear them from the kitchen. Granny looked at her weirdly, not knowing how to react to it, but she answered by recalling giving Hiroto a sermon before their marriage. She talked about children, money, and all those kinds of stuff, letting him know that if he gets in trouble, Hiroto could always backpedal. Chika wasn't satisfied with the answer, but she kept her silence until she was brave enough to ask her mother, "Don't you think something is off?" "Not his wife, the daughter," said Chika, still in a whisper. Granny was confused about it, not knowing why she was suddenly asking her about Teiko. So Chika explained that earlier that night, Teiko asked Hiroto if he wanted to make a baby, knowing damn well it's not normal for a teen stepdaughter to say that. Granny's eyes also got scared, like she was sweating all over her face. Granny wouldn't react that way if she knew it was normal. But Teiko is far from being normal at this point. She tried to come up with a reason that maybe Chika just misheard it. But Chika knew what she heard, so she tried to talk Granny out that maybe Teiko was forced to do that weird stuff to make money out of Hiroto. However, Granny was trying her best to avoid such a topic, telling Chika that she was just overthinking it because teens nowadays can be weird sometimes. Still, Chika stood on what she thought must be a possibility. But before she could explain further, Granny stood up and pretended to be yawning, encouraging Chika to go to bed because she'd been thinking strange things already. With that, Chika knew that her mother wasn't siding with her on that one, so she agreed to go to bed, thinking that she must have been overthinking it. Yet as she arrived in her room, she still ended up scrolling down her phone as she continued her own research. The next day, Chika woke up but still kept yawning. That's what you get when you're on being a wannabe detective. She reasoned out that Minato had woken up early that day. That's why she was still tired from taking care of the infant. She checked her bag, trying to grab a diaper for Minato to change, but she noticed there were only a few diapers left. She can't run out of diapers, or else it would be a hassle when taking care of a stinky baby around the house, so she must grab more at the convenience store and give Minato to Granny. She asked Hiroto to give her a ride because her sleepy ass might bump into every guardrail on their way. Of course, MC couldn't let her do that, so he agreed to give her a ride but asked Miyako if she wanted to come. Miyako declined because she preferred to stay there in case Granny needed some help, so Hiroto asked Hoko if she wanted to come instead, to which she gladly accepted. Now there are 3 of them, something Chika did not expect, but must not say anything about or else her baby would become hostage. Gotta let Toko run wild if you still love your life. Later, the 3 of them arrived at the grocery shop, and Chika grabbed a basket for the things. Hiroto was casually looking out for them until he noticed that he didn't have enough cash with him, so he needed to use the ATM next door. Great, now there's the 2 of them. Better keep your cool, Chika. Although it was really awkward, Chika still tried her best to make conversation with Toko by asking if she wanted some candies. However, Toko is not a 10-year-old girl, so she declines the offer, which Chika would still buy for her when she changes her mind. Deep inside, she's having a hard time breathing around Toko. They check out their stuff and pay for it after waiting for Hiroto at a nearby bench outside the store. "We should have got his car keys," Chika said, trying to lighten up the atmosphere between them so it wouldn't have to be so awkward. She was already panicking deep inside, wondering what was taking MC so long if the ATM was just next door. Then, Toko started a conversation with Chika, asking what it felt like to bear a child. Chika's reaction looks like she got weirded out, not knowing to answer it normally, because Toko's Yandere aura is so powerful that a normal question sounds so creepy. Still, Chika tried her best to answer the question, recalling how happy she was when Minato was born, yet the process of pushing him out was so painful that she wanted it to be over with. "Were you happy during pregnancy?" Toko asked, which caught Chika by surprise, and she said that the only thing that wasn't great there was her morning sickness. Then Toko played her usual mind games, asking, "So what about now? Are you happy?" All while touching Chika's belly, which scared the pants out of her, so that she forgot how to talk for a few seconds. Thankfully, Hiroto found them, and Toko greeted him very cheerily, unlike Chika, who seemed like she had just witnessed someone getting stabbed. MC was worried that something might have been wrong, but Chika spared him the details, and they walked towards the car. Except for Chika, who still looks like she was shaken up by a normal-looking question and gesture. Afterward, as they all got in the car, Toko was daydreaming about having to bear a child, thinking that Chika was lucky enough to get herself pregnant with a son. This is leaving a pit in the middle of my stomach, a feeling I couldn't explain. Before we go to more FD up stuff, let's go back to where it all began, the story of how Hiroto, MC, met Miyako. On this normal day, we can see Miyako and Toko rummaging into their closet. Toko had a jacket in her hand when she asked her mother if those things were all going into burnable trash, to which Miyako replied that it was. It seems like they are putting away Miyako's ex-husband's clothes, and the next part is important, so they must hurry. Whatever that thing, they're in a hurry to get rid of. Toko was about to leave when she heard her mother say that, so she turned around to her. She went on and put her hands gently on her mother's shoulders and said that the next step was important, so she needed to choose slowly. With that, Miyako smiled and was relieved, thankful for her daughter's reminder. After a few nights, we can see Miyako alone at their dining table with her laptop. She was looking serious, and finally we got to see what she was writing down on those papers with numbers. Then we could see MC's name there with a circle. Creepy, yes it is. The next morning, Miyako was all dolled up, looking gorgeous for a reason. Toko saw this and asked if she was going to that place, to which Miyako replied that she was in order to talk to him. Part of her wasn't confident that it would go smoothly though, but Toko, being the best wingman, assured her mother that she was going to be fine because she was gorgeous. Like any man would want her, unfortunately, MC also thinks the same, and now his life is in constant danger. But it's too soon to say that. Anyway, her mother was flattered by her words, and before she left, they once again did their pinky swear, giving each other the courage to do their best. Later that day, at a local library, we saw the victim, RMC, casually reading his book alone. That's when Miyako sat in front of him, looking pretty. MC recognized her. He often sees her there on weekends, and his mind wonders if they're the same age. He noticed that she wasn't wearing any ring, but assumed that she was probably married. They often see each other in the library, so her life doesn't really matter. But after a few hours, Miyako was about to leave but bowed to MC, to which he reciprocated. He was embarrassed because he might have got caught staring at him, but most importantly, they greeted each other. Just when MC thought the interaction with that mysterious woman ended, accidentally left her notebook, so MC had to make a run for it. Accident? I think not. Without him knowing it, he did make a run for it and was in time to catch up with Miyako. As he was catching his breath, MC gave her the notebook, but she was too late to realize what he had done. He could just pass it to the librarian, but he wanted to be a knight in shining armor. Miyako took her notebook with both hands and thanked MC for the effort he made just to give it back to her. She held it close to her and said that it was very important to her, which is why she's thankful that a kind man like MC gave it back to her. That small interaction bloomed into a much bigger love, and MC was so proud that he shared it with his co-workers. They were supportive towards him, and it made him feel like destiny pulled the strings. But he prefers to see it as a coincidence because he thinks the word destiny is pretentious. Still, it did make MC feel like she was the one he'd been waiting for. But in reality, that woman planned it all from the start. She was burning the piece of paper with his name on it, as if putting a spell on him. My man keeps being played like a fidget spinner. I've read too much Yandere manga, so we all know where this is going. Meanwhile, in the house, Miyako and Granny were looking out for Minato, who was playing on the floor. Miyako was helping Granny fold the laundry, and although Granny felt bad for having her help, Miyako insisted. Besides, it would be a good excuse to get to know each other. Daughter and mother-in-law bonding time. As she took Minato off the floor, Granny was also happy to know that she could rely on someone to help her with the chores, because it's not every day she has someone with her in the house. As Minato was being cute so effortlessly, Granny could not help but baby talk him about having to look exactly like his dad, especially in his eyes. This brought up a topic to talk about when Miyako asked Minato's father, "What kind of person is Chika's husband?" Granny then replies that Kasuki is a kind man, and her first impression of him is that Kasuki is a man of action, almost as if she can tell he was quite naughty during his school days. Well, most of us are. It's surprising to see someone change after high school. That's why reunions exist, to laugh about what happened those days. Miyako keeps her silence and just listens to Granny, as she further says that Kasuki is a busy man with his work, so he lacks the ability to be a father to Minato. Her explanation was quite long, so when Miyako could only reply with, "Oh really? I see." Granny was weirded out somehow, and got a bit awkward. But Minato's sudden mood change distracted Granny from overthinking the situation, so she asked Miyako if she'd want to hold him. Miyako was hesitant, scared that Minato might cry when he was in her arms. "It's fine, stranger anxiety spared us." Granny assured her that he wouldn't, gently giving Minato to Miyako. When Minato was finally on her arm, Minato gave her a few while to get uncomfortable before he smiled at her. They get along too well, in the most normal way possible. Seeing her grandchild getting comfortable in someone else's arms, Granny shared how Hiroto was so shy as a baby, which got her curious if Miyako could remember the time when Teoko was little. Of course, Miyako couldn't forget such memories because she cherished them so much. She didn't even expect her daughter to grow up so fast, like a dog within its months. Now that they were onto something, Granny wanted to prolong their conversation until they could open up with each other. So she asked Miyako, "You had the baby when you were 20 or so, right? It must have been very hard." Miyako didn't hesitate to admit that it was until she opened up about how she was still so young and clueless back then, and yet she was in seventh heaven. As she recalls her memories of raising Teoko, we can see a manly figure, which got everybody crazy with the theories. For some reason, Granny looks terrified at her aura when she talks about heaven. It got awkward real quick, but Granny brushed that out and asked her if she wanted another baby, since people nowadays tend to marry later and have babies in their mid-30s. Surely, Teoko won't refuse to help with the chores and raising a possible new baby boy for a complete set, not help making one. However, Miyako doesn't have a plan for it, stopping herself from spilling something she's not meant to share with anyone. So she reasons out that she already has Hiroto and Teoko, and they're enough. However, that smiley face won't change Granny's impression of her, getting weirded out, and Miyako's further statement, "I'm glad Teoko was born a girl," worsened Granny's feelings. She also can't pinpoint what it was, and even though Miyako said nothing weird or bad, her Yandere aura was 10 times more powerful, and her words were getting creepy. It is as if being a Yandere is their domain expansion affecting everyone within a 10-mile radius except MC. Just when we thought Teoko was worse, what more from the flesh and blood she came from? That's when Granny admitted that Chika might be right about them. Still, seeing Miyako playing soft and innocently with Minato, she concluded they might be overreacting. Meanwhile, the others' drive back home was full of joy now that the air conditioning was finally working. However, Chika kept silent while Teoko and Hiroto planned to have lunch at the house, expecting Granny to make a curry. Speaking of Granny, she texted Chika, saying that she was already sensing something strange in Hiroto's family, which was more concerning that her face turned pale as if she was blackmailed. Hiroto noticed and got worried about his sister, so he asked her if there was something wrong. Of course, she knew it would change everything if she told the truth, so she denied it, but her face couldn't hide the tragic thing their family had fallen into ever since their father died. The whole family noticed something strange with the mother and daughter, except for Hiroto, who still went on his way to marry the mother. They see danger, he sees love. Who are we to judge him anyway? But everyone sure does have lots on their minds right now. What about yours? Should MC run or hide? After that intense and odd ride back home, Chika was walking down when she saw their family picture, back when their father was alive. A little background story transitions to when their father died, back when her brother, MC, was 8 years old while she was still 1. It was a car accident, but since Chika didn't live old enough to spend time with their father, MC was the only one who cried a lot. Now that he's the only man in the family, their mother constantly reminds MC that he should be strong and must protect Chika. Even though it wasn't MC's will, he had no choice because that's how it is. But MC took it seriously though, caring for his younger sister well, as he was told to. They were inseparable back then. When Chika turned 5, she used to give him flowers plucked from the neighbor's planter every day. But then the old lady, the owner of the planter, got angry, and MC knew that it was because of his sister. So they went to the neighbor to apologize together with Chika. The neighbor looked at them with pity, and since the 2 children came clean, she couldn't be heartless not to forgive them, so she did. After that, the 2 went home with MC, telling Chica not to tell what happened to their mom. Chica really adored her big brother, even though they were grieving the loss of their father, and felt lonely because their mother was always busy. All they had was each other, and they were able to fill that void. As Chica grew older and teenage tantrums kept up with her, she didn't usually talk to him like before and was borderline rude. No matter what she does to understand her sister, she always shuts him off. Still, his treatment towards her never changed and have always been kind to remind her to eat dinner. Sometimes he tends to be reliable towards her, like on nights with thunder or whenever they go outside, and he's wearing something plain. They've been there for each other through happy moments or sad moments. Therefore, Chica knows his marriage will only bring him misfortune. She can feel it on her belly. In the past, Chica knew and witnessed that her big brother always had bad luck with women, and it was her job to bring him back to reality. As we transition back to the present, we can see Takeo, Miyako, and MC's mom holding Chica's son as they are cooking skewers outside. Meanwhile, in the living room, MC was resting on the couch with Chica behind him. She asked why he was inside when his family was outside. MC responds that he deserves the break after letting up the fire because a bit of rest won't hurt. Chica thinks it would be nice to tease MC, saying that if he's going to keep it up, he'll have problems with his mother-in-law. As if not used to it, MC was surprised to hear it and teased Chica that she should also be watching Minato, her son. Chica just shrugged that off by saying that her mom is having a good time looking out for Minato. She doesn't want to interfere because she's a good daughter. She even thinks that Minato is more attached to her grandma than his dad. As the conversation was getting deep, Chica slouched on the couch's backrest and asked his brother a question. "Do you really not want your own child?" MC gave it a few seconds before replying that Chica was starting to sound like their mother. It was clear that MC was feeling pressured to have his own child, which got Chica concerned, so she tried to laugh it off. She sat down next to him and struck up a more family-friendly topic, like how his life has been in married life, parent-child shenanigans, and all. She also asked in particular how his bond with his high school stepdaughter was, which brought MC to inappropriate moments in his life with Takeo. He muttered the word troubles and flopped his head in his palm, looking really stressed out. At first he doesn't want to share anything about it, but slowly he shares with his sister that dealing with a girl Takeo's age is difficult enough. But when it comes to stepchildren, he doesn't know where to put the line of boundaries because it's also his first time. Chica looked at him with clueless eyes because she didn't even know the answer to his problems. Given that their father died when she could barely make up a word, Chica used to avoid her friends in high school when they were annoying, so he assured MC that it was a normal state of affairs. Aside from that, Chica said that if their mother were to remarry a random dude you've never seen in your life, it would be strange to embrace it with a smile. MC smiled, understanding the situation as he put himself into Takeo's shoes. But Takeo's shoes are dirty with mud, so there's no way he'll know what happened before him. Now that they're in this serious talk, Chica turned to him, ready to ask a serious question about his marriage. Chica started by saying that Takeo has a weird sense of distance, and Miyako completely ignores it. She even wanted to support it with the news she saw the other day. But before she could say anything else, MC stopped her because it was getting too overwhelming. MC couldn't believe that his sister was saying that Miyako was a swindler or something, which sounded ridiculous. He was touched that his sister was concerned, but given that Chica has been interfering with MC's love life in the past by saying, her makeup is scuffed, or this chick is a blob, all that MC wants is for Chica to let him live his own life too. However, that answer got Chica panicking, saying that it was different this time. But before she could put it in more context, her phone rang out of nowhere, and it took Chica a while to pick it up. Actually, she didn't look like she wanted to pick up the call, so she ended it and flipped her phone. That didn't go unnoticed by MC, so he asked her if everything was all right with her. He also notices that Chica has always been worried about others, which she tends to do whenever she's in trouble herself. Chica was hesitant to tell him the truth and got really anxious, which is shown in her body language. But when she looked up at her brother's face, she saw the child version of him that used to be really caring for her. This gave her the courage to tell him the truth, but before she could say it, Takeo opened the door and called out for her dad. Really not the best time to interfere. She showed MC the poster of the festival, getting all hyped up for the fireworks, and told MC, "Here comes the fireworks, let's bang, shall we?" Chica and MC looked at her very weirdly, because who wouldn't after saying that statement like it didn't have a double meaning? Now that Takeo was there, Chika stood up and left the living room. MC was concerned about his sister, but had to deal with Taco first. Meanwhile, Chika went upstairs when she received a message saying, "Still the same with your husband? Don't worry, in case of anything, I'm all yours." She didn't reply to this message and curled herself in a ball. Later that night, Chika imprisoned herself in her room, looking gloomy, and Minato was crying. Her mother called out for her, but it took her a while to gather her senses and hear her mother. She was looking drowsy and her mother was concerned, but since Minato wouldn't stop crying, she had to give him back to Chika. Her mother already changed his diaper and fed him, but none of it could calm the baby down, so she figured he just wanted his mother, or was just sleepy. Chika's mother was being patient with Minato and her, which Chika was lucky for. Now that Minato was in her arms, his cry was fading, feeling safe in his mother's arms. After a whole night, Chika went downstairs, still feeling drowsy. The first thing that greeted her was Taco, who was wearing her old yukata. Taco greeted Chika a good morning, while she could only look at her like there was a ghost. Taco turns around with her mother and asks if Chika doesn't mind if Taco wears her old yukata for the festival. Taco also properly said that she would like to borrow her aunt's yukata. She was so happy to wear it that she showed it off to NC, with his saying that he's glad it's no longer collecting dust. As for Chika, she had no choice but to force a smile and an agreement, even though deep inside, she wanted to say no. She did her best to shrug it off and went on with her morning until her mother asked if she should join in to visit the festival. Chika was hesitant at first, not sure if she wanted to go or not, but her mother encouraged her to do so, keeping in mind her reunion with her former classmates. NC also encouraged his sister to join them, tempting her to buy her a candied apple as if she were still a child. She became quiet for a few minutes when it dawned on her that maybe her mother also wanted a break from all of them. With a heavy sigh, Chika agreed to come with them just for the sake of their mother, while her brother was acting like it was all because of the candied apple. After a while, they went off to the festival, and the moment they arrived, Taco's eyes glistened at the beautiful lights and stalls. They were walking through the streets, enjoying the beautiful scent of each food stall there is. Chika was surprised at how crowded it was since it's been a while since she'd visited one. Meanwhile, Taco and Miyako were looking forward to the fireworks later that evening. In times like this, NC feels the warmth of having his own family until he excuses himself to buy a candied apple that he promised to his sister. Chika didn't expect that he'd really do it, but she didn't want to be rude, so she accepted it. That small gesture made Chika feel cared for by her brother, that even though he's married, he will always act like her big bro. The four of them were enjoying the small games at the festival until Chika's phone rang again. She thought it was Grandma, but seeing the caller's ID turned her smile upside down. He told NC about it, but lied about her missing a call from her part-time job. She was really tense. The small noises surprised her, like that bell behind them, which caught her and Minato by surprise. Minato started crying, but she was in a hurry. NC asked if she would like to hand him Minato as she took the call. Chika was hesitant, but it was an important call, so she apologized before excusing herself to them. NC doesn't mind anyway, but after a while, it is clear that he's struggling to keep him calm. But then, Taco asked if she could hold him for him. NC hesitated, not knowing if he should trust her. But since Chika said she'll be back soon, NC thought it would be fine to hand Minato to Taco for a bit. With Taco's arms, Minato stopped crying for a few while, which was a relief to the family. That's when NC notices that more people are coming in, so they need to meet Chika at the monument as soon as possible. As they were walking, Miyako smiled at him and said that festivals are fun, and she was happy that she was able to visit one with NC. That brought a blush and a smile to NC's face, though probably feeling proud of himself. A few minutes later, an announcement was made that the fireworks would be starting soon, and so everyone was on their way to the square to take a better look at the fireworks. The streets were getting cramped, so NC suggested taking a different route. However, as he looked back, Taco was no longer in sight. This gave him a terrifying feeling, and Miyako was also surprised not to see her behind them. She quickly took her phone out to call Taco, while NC was wasting no time to find Taco, especially since she was holding his sister's dearest son. If something were to happen with the baby, maybe it's a sign to drop it. I'm kidding, can't do that if this video were up to 100,000 views. On the other hand, after roughly 13 minutes, Chika ended the call on whoever that was. She was bawling her eyes out, and as if luck was not in the country, The moment she reunited with her brother, she found out that Minato disappeared together with Tako. Her soul almost left her body, and all she could do was react in anger, cursing his brother for not watching over her son, even though he was entrusted to take care of him. NC is guilty, and so is Miyako, but there's no time for that, and they must look for Tako and Minato. With the fireworks no longer in their mind, all three of them were looking for the kids separately, trying to get in contact with Tako, but to no avail, and C started to think that Tako must have forgotten her cell phone at home. If this goes on for a while, they have no choice but to ask for an announcement. However, just in time, away from the crowded street, NC found Tako with a sleeping Minato. Tears were visible in her eyes as NC asked if they were both okay. NC immediately called Chika, letting them know that he found them. Not so long after, Chika and Miyako arrived at the scene and went straight to Minato. Worry was visible in her face as she angrily took Minato out of Tako's arms. She was shaking him out of concern that he was not breathing, but that woke him up, so Minato started crying. Chika hugged his son close to her, relieved that he was okay. As for Tako, she stepped in and apologized to Chika, saying that she got lost in the crowd. She was about to cry, feeling really guilty for being reckless with no sense of direction. A face like that, it's hard not to show sympathy. However, NC calmed her down, saying that what's more important is that they're all safe. But Chika looked at her with dead eyes as if telling Tako that she had no right to cry after putting her son in danger. No apologies would make up for what she did, and slowly, Chika was out of her mind, and she charged toward Tako, about to slap her in the face. Thankfully, NC was there to stop her from hurting the child. But Chika's anger was understandable because she couldn't bear it if something were to happen to her son, not accepting Tako's lost-in-the-crowd reason. Minato started crying from the noise, and the other mother, Miyako, stepped in front of Tako and apologized in her stand. She bowed to her and apologized that the blame should be on her as a parent for not preventing it from happening. Chika agreed, looking at them with stressed and angry eyes. I entrusted my brother with my child. I'm afraid to leave him with strangers. You're a mother too, so how can you not understand? Chika said without a care if she was being too harsh towards them. Miyako didn't say anything and could only listen to what Chika was about to say. But then, NC butted in and defended his family, saying that he should take the blame for casually handing out her child to others, which is actually true. Still, NC was trying his best to be neutral in this argument, saying that it happened by accident, but things were okay in the end. He couldn't believe that his sister was ready to hurt a child, even though it was an accident, thinking the situation was insane. It may have sounded like nothing for another person, but for Chika, it felt as if there was a huge line between her and the brothers she looked up to as a child. Part of her couldn't accept that he was defending them, even though she was his real family. Chika's frown turned into a smirk before saying the harshest thing she ever told his brother. You don't understand how I felt when I was looking for him. And you never will because you don't have any children of your own, exclaimed Chika, looking at her brother as if they were not blood-related. On the other hand, Miyako covered her mouth, surprised to hear her say such a thing. As for NC, he didn't say anything about it, but it was clear that his heart broke from his words. Chika panted as the realization slapped her in the face. The lights turned off as the fireworks were about to start, and in the eye of the storm, it was quiet for a second. Part of Chika urged herself to apologize quickly, but the moment she was about to say the word, the sound of the fireworks muffled her voice. And in that second of light, she saw the silhouette of her brother and the smile of the two women on both his sides, as if glad that this chaos was happening in front of them while NC was still lost. Geez, I knew that the wife was also in on the plan, but damn. The moment was perfect, and it captured my annoyance so well. I have nothing else to say but ripe to this dude.